尺に触るから、次でお前を殺す。
Will there be new weekly bosses coming to Genshin? If you look closely, the two regions Mondstadt and Liyue have two weekly bosses to represent each country, the Valiant and Andrews in Mondstadt and Child with Azaha in Liyue. At the time, you only have La Signora in Inazuma. It would be odd if MiHoYo intended to have only one weekly boss in Inazuma. As a result, I'm going to assume that a new weekly boss will be coming to Inazuma. Don't worry, I have my own reason why MiHoYo may introduce a new boss, aside from the fact that the other two regions have two bosses, which brings us to another section. How will the new weekly bosses be introduced? I'm not sure if you are well aware of this, but whenever the Archon quest for the region ended, we always get a mark stating that Fatui or Abyss Order have done something. Spoiler alert, before I go into what's going on in the Archon quest, if you haven't completed the Archon quest, I recommend skipping ahead to the timeline I've displayed on the screen right now. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. For example, in Mondstadt Archon quest, Abyss Order tried to manipulating the Valin to destroy Mondstadt by controlling the Valin's mind, thinking its people betray him when in the actuality, never. Venti and Traveler come in to help the Valin ease his mind by destroying the entity that controls the Valin and be able to obliterate the Abyss Mage. A new domain has been unlocked where we can face the Valin on a weekly basis. Next region, Liyue. Rex Lapis, or known as Morax, died for mysterious reasons and fell from the skies during titular rite, with his vessel the Exuvia being whisked away by Liyue Qixing. It's a way to letting know his subordinate, the Adeptai, and the Tinchuan Ningguang that he is retiring as an Archon. Fatui seized the opportunity and attempted to grab the Geonosis from the Exuvia through one of the Fatui Harbingers known as Child or Tartaglia. Traveler fought Child to keep him away from approaching the Exuvia but failed. Child tries to acquire the Gnosis within the Exuvia, but he is perplexed since the Gnosis is nowhere inside the Exuvia. We fight back as Child, believing that we have the Gnosis with us. We've unlocked a new domain where we can confront Child again on a weekly basis. And the recent region, Inazuma. Still having Fatui lingering around the country affairs. Vision Hand Decree is something that confiscates people's vision for the sake of eternity. Fatui is involved once more, but this time behind the scenes, with the main eye La Signora deceiving Raiden Shogun in order to preserve the Vision Hand Decree. On Yashiori Island, one of the Fatui Harbinger known as the Balladeer, Scaramouche, runs a massive delusion factory. We fought La Signora in order to prevent her from further tricking Raiden Shogun. Signora was eventually slain by the Shogun herself. We've unlocked a new domain where we can fight La Signora as a weekly commemoration. Now that we've completed the main quest, let's talk about Azaha and Andrews, who were introduced through the character story quest. Beginning with Azaha, who was introduced in Zhongli's story quest Historia Antiqua Part 2 and Andrews in Reza's story quest Lupus Minor or Lupus Minor. I assume you can see where I'm going now. So the next weekly boss will be introduced through story quest, specifically Raiden Shogun's story quest. Who is going to be the weekly bosses? When I mention Raiden Shogun, I'm referring to A. If you're wondering who Raiden Shogun and A are, A is the second Archon for Inazuma after her sister Makoto died during the catastrophe. Raiden Shogun, like Scaramouche, is A's puppet who governed the Inazuma while A meditates in the plane of Euthymia. According to the Shogun, she considers herself to be A's assistant. If you take a step back and look at the weekly bosses introduced through story quests, you see that the two of them are the Archon's companion. However, for Inazuma, we may have to go up against A's own creation. What will the plot be to why Raiden Shogun will be the new weekly bosses? Don't take anything I say seriously in this section, okay? This is pure speculation on my part, which may and may not be correct. So after this, we might have to battle Raiden Shogun as our weekly thing. Here are a few reasons why Raiden Shogun could rebel against its own creator, and A won't be able to fight it on her alone. In case you didn't know, A mentioned that Raiden Shogun is continually finding its way to get stronger, and may not be able to hold the puppet for much longer. Also, from the outside force can very easily manipulate the puppet. The Kujo clan and the Fatui, for example, trick her into initiating and upholding the Vision Hand Decree. Also, with the new era of Inazuma, where Raiden Shogun's job is basically non-existent other than guarding the country, the puppet may go insane and you may say, quote-unquote, broken. If you have completed A Story Quest Part 1, you will see the puppet roam around inside the Tenchokaku with no direction in mind, and the speech was a bit unstable due to a temporarily disabled some of a function. That might be a significant sign that the puppet will go berserk and threaten the people in Inazuma, and this is where the traveler comes in to assist A in defeating Raiden Shogun. With the new Inazuma era, Raiden Shogun may follow in the footsteps of its brother Scaramouche to seek its purpose in this world again, as the Raiden Shogun doesn't have much to do after Vision Hunt Decree getting abolished. We know Scaramouche is the first prototype created by A to hold Gnosis, but because the vessel was unable to retain Gnosis, A just left the first puppet under the earth until one day the puppet was recruited by the Fatui. This may be the same case with Raiden Shogun to find its sole purpose of a creation again, as Raiden Shogun now has nothing to do with its own system, which has been programmed to hold the eternity in Inazuma. So that's my take on the plot on why Raiden Shogun might be the future weekly boss in Inazuma. There you have it. What do you think about Raiden Shogun becoming the new weekly bosses? Or would you rather have Scaramouche or Yanmiko as our weekly boss? If you have something to say about this video, let me know in the comment down below. I'll make sure to read it after. So that's all for the video everyone. If you find this video interesting, please do leave a like on it and share to help the video reach a wider audience. Subscribe if you are new for more videos like this. As always, have a nice day and I'll see you all in another video. Goodbye, gamers.